Commander Jake Morrison stood in the huge meeting hall on Nexus Prime. The place was bigger than 3 football fields put together. Bright lights hung from the ceiling like stars. Around him sat creatures from all over the galaxy. Some looked like giant bugs. Others had too many arms or eyes in weird places. The smell in the room was awful, like rotten eggs mixed with old fish. Jake wore his best military uniform. The blue fabric had gold stripes on the shoulders. 3 years of these meetings had made him tired. His face showed no feelings, but inside, he was angry, very angry. The alien in front of him was talking. Its name was Speaker Vexthera. It looked like a snake with arms and wore a silver robe. When it spoke, green spit flew from its mouth. "The human military must be destroyed," Vexthera said. Its voice sounded like metal scraping on stone. "Human weapons are too dangerous. Human soldiers are too violent. The galaxy cannot be safe while humans have guns and ships." Jake said nothing. He had heard this speech many times before. Next to him sat Ambassador Lisa Carter. She was a small woman with gray hair and smart eyes. She wore a black suit and held a datapad in her hands. Lisa had been talking to these aliens for 3 years. She knew their language better than anyone. Behind Jake and Lisa stood 6 human guards. They wore body armor and carried energy weapons. The aliens had demanded the humans come unarmed. Jake had refused. If the aliens wanted to talk, they would talk to armed humans or not at all. Another alien stood up. This one looked like a big purple frog with 4 arms. "Human colonies must accept protection," it said. "Our ships will guard human worlds. Our soldiers will keep humans safe. Humans are too young to protect themselves." Jake knew what this really meant. The aliens wanted to put their soldiers on every human world. They wanted to control human space. They wanted humans to be slaves who said thank you for their chains. A third alien joined the conversation. This one was tall and thin like a stick. It had gray skin and no hair. "Human children must come to our schools," it said. "Human children learn violence from their parents. We will teach them peace. We will teach them to obey." That was when Lisa Carter put down her datapad. She stood up slowly. Her face was white with anger. Jake had never seen her this mad before. "You want our children?" Lisa asked. Her voice was quiet, but everyone in the room could hear her. "Yes," said Vexthera. "Human children will learn proper behavior. They will forget human ways. In 50 years, there will be no more human violence, no more human danger. The galaxy will be safe." Lisa looked around the room. Hundreds of alien eyes stared back at her. These creatures ruled most of the galaxy. Their empires were thousands of years old. They had more ships than humans. They had more soldiers than humans. They thought they were better than humans, but they were afraid. Jake could see it in their eyes. These ancient empires were scared of humans who had only been in space for 200 years. They were scared of people who used to live in caves. That fear made them stupid. Lisa smiled. It was not a nice smile. "The talks have failed," she said. "Humanity formally withdraws from the Galactic Council. This withdrawal takes effect right now." The room exploded with noise. Aliens clicked, buzzed, roared, and screamed. Some stood on their chairs. Others waved their arms or tentacles in the air. A few aliens near the back started pushing each other. Vexthera slammed a metal stick on the table. The noise was loud, enough to hurt human ears. "Silence," it shouted. The room became quiet again. "Humans cannot leave," Vexthera said. "The Council has not given permission. Humans must stay. Humans must obey." Lisa was already walking toward the door. Jake and the guards followed her. Their boots made clicking sounds on the smooth floor. Every alien in the room watched them go. "If humans leave, there will be consequences," shouted the purple frog alien. "Human trade will be stopped. Human ships will be taken. Human worlds will be blockaded." Lisa did not turn around. She kept walking. Jake stayed close behind her. He was proud of his ambassador. For 3 years, she had tried to make peace with these creatures. She had been patient when they insulted humanity. She had been calm when they made impossible demands. But asking, For human children was too much. Even Lisa Carter had limits. At the door, Jake turned around. The aliens were still shouting and arguing. They sounded like children having a fight in a playground. These were the great leaders of galactic civilization. These were the wise rulers who wanted to teach humans how to behave. Jake pulled out a small device from his pocket. It looked like a phone but was much more advanced. He pressed a button and spoke quietly into it. "Control, this is Morrison," he said. "Execute Protocol Exodus. All human assets are to begin immediate withdrawal from galactic space." The voice that answered came from very far away. It came from Earth itself, where the human government was waiting for this call. "Confirmed, Commander. Protocol Exodus is now active. All human citizens and property will be withdrawn within 6 months. Jake put the device back in his pocket. Behind him, the aliens were still yelling about sanctions and punishments. They were planning to hurt humanity for leaving. They did not understand that humanity was already gone. The 3 humans and their guards walked out of the meeting hall. Outside, their ship was waiting. It was small and fast, built for diplomatic missions. In a few hours, it would carry them back to human space, back to where people understood freedom. As they walked up the ramp into their ship, Jake allowed himself to smile. The aliens thought they were punishing humanity by making them leave. They did not know they were making the biggest mistake in galactic history. Soon they would find out just how much they needed the humans they had just thrown away. Captain Ben Rodriguez was drinking coffee when the message came through. He sat in the captain's chair of his cargo ship, the New Houston. Around him, the bridge was busy with normal work. His crew was good people. They had been mining asteroids and running cargo for 5 years together. The message came from Earth. It was marked with the highest security level. Ben had only seen messages like this during wartime. He opened it with shaking hands. "Execute Protocol Exodus immediately. All human operations in galactic space must cease within 72 hours. Return to Terran space with all personnel and equipment. This is not a drill." Ben read the message 3 times. Then he called his crew to the bridge. Chief Engineer Kate Williams came first. She was a tough woman from Texas who could fix anything with engines. Security Officer Danny Cole followed her. He was young but smart, and he kept the crew safe during dangerous cargo runs. "What's going on, Captain?" Kate asked. She could tell something was wrong by looking at Ben's face. "We're going home," Ben said. He showed them the message. "All of us. Right now." Danny whistled low. "That's a lot of equipment to move in 3 days. What about our contracts with the mining station?" Ben looked out the big window at the front of the bridge. In the distance, he could see Kepler Station. It was huge, bigger than most cities. Thousands of aliens worked there, digging valuable metals from dead planets. The station had been built 50 years ago with human help. Human engineers had designed most of it. Human workers had put it together. "The contracts are finished," Ben said. "Send word to all human workers on the station. Tell them to pack up and get ready to leave." Kate looked confused. "Ben, we got 800 people working down there. Some of them got families. Some of them been here for years. They can't just pack up and go home in 3 days." "They can and they will," Ben said. His voice was hard now. "Orders are orders. Something big happened back home. Big enough that Earth wants every human out of alien space. The next 3 days were crazy. Human workers all over the station got the same message. Pack up your things. Leave your alien friends. Come home right now." Some people were angry. Some people were sad. But they all obeyed the order. Dr. Helen Foster was one of the hardest cases. She worked in the science labs with alien researchers. For 10 years, she had been studying new kinds of life with creatures from 12 different worlds. Her work was important. It might lead to new medicines that could save millions of lives. But when Ben came to get her, she was already packing her equipment. "I don't understand why we have to go," she said. Her lab partner was a blue alien named Kickstar. It had 4 arms and was very smart. Right now, Kickstar looked very sad. "Please stay, Helen," Kickstar said. Its voice sounded like singing. "Our work is too important. We are so close to a breakthrough. Just a few more months." Helen shook her head. "I'm sorry, old friend, but my people need me more than this research does. She packed the last of her equipment into metal boxes. Maybe someday we can work together again. Kickstar's skin changed, from blue to gray. That meant it was very upset. The Council will not let humans return, you know this. If you leave now, you leave forever. Helen stopped packing for a moment. She looked around the lab where she had spent the best years of her life. Then she looked at her alien friend. Then I guess this is goodbye. All over the galaxy, the same scene was happening. Human traders were pulling their ships out of alien ports. Captain Sam Parker had run cargo between 30 different worlds for 15 years. His ship, the Lucky Strike, was known in every spaceport from here to the galactic core. When he got his orders, he was carrying medicine to a plague world. Sam's first officer was worried. Captain, if we leave now, a lot of aliens are going to die. That medicine is the only thing that can save them. Sam looked at the message from Earth one more time. Then he made the hardest decision of his life. Drop the medicine at the next station. Tell them to find their own way to deliver it. We're going home. The aliens tried to stop the humans from leaving. They offered more money. They promised better working conditions. Some even begged. On Vega Prime, the alien governor offered to make human workers citizens of his world if they would stay. But the humans kept leaving. They took their machines with them. They took their knowledge with them. They took their skills with them. Things that had worked perfectly for years suddenly started breaking down. Computer systems crashed. Life support systems failed. Mining, equipment stopped working. Engineer Michelle Turner was one of the last humans to leave Centauri Station. She had maintained the station's power systems for 7 years. The alien station master followed her to her ship. "You cannot leave," he said. His name was Kelthor, and he was desperate. "The station will die without you. 40,000 people live here. Please, we will give you anything you want." Michelle turned around at the door of her ship. "You should have thought about that before your government decided humans were too dangerous to exist." She walked into her ship and never looked back. Within 6 months, human presence in alien space dropped to almost nothing. Trade routes that had carried goods for decades suddenly had no ships. Mining operations that had fed entire worlds shut down. Research projects that might have changed the galaxy were abandoned. The aliens had gotten exactly what they wanted. A galaxy without dangerous humans interfering in their business. Soon they would learn what that really meant. Station Administrator Keltar stared at the empty docking bays through his office window. 6 months ago, the Centauri Trade Nexus had been the busiest place in the galaxy. Ships came and went every few minutes. Cargo moved through the station, like water through pipes. The sound of trade and business never stopped. Now the place was quiet as a grave. Keltar was a Vorthon, a race that looked like walking fish with arms and legs. His people had built this station 200 years ago. They had made it the center of galactic trade, but they had not built it alone. Humans had helped with almost everything. The power systems were human design. The computer networks were human-built. The cargo handling equipment was human-made. Even the air recycling system had human parts in it. For 50 years, human technicians had kept everything running perfectly. Now those technicians were gone. Keltar's assistant came into the office. Her name was Tixara, and she looked worried. "Sir, we have another problem. Docking Bay 12 has lost power again. That makes 7 bays offline this week." "What about the repair crews?" Keltar asked. "They don't know how to fix human equipment. The manuals are written in human language. Even when we translate them, our people don't understand the technology." Keltar closed his eyes. This was the same story all over the station. Human machines breaking down with no humans to fix them. His people were smart, but human technology was different. It worked in ways that alien minds could not easily understand. "How many ships docked yesterday?" he asked. 12, Tixara said, quietly. "Last year on the same day, we had over 300. The math was simple and terrible. No human ships meant no human cargo. No human cargo meant other species had nothing to trade. No trade meant the station was dying. Soon there would be no reason for anyone to come here at all. On the other side of the galaxy, Senator Roy Adams was watching the same thing happen everywhere. He was one of the few humans still working in alien space. He ran a small shipping company that moved goods between alien worlds. His customers paid him very well because human ships were now rare and valuable. But Roy was not happy about his success. He could see what was coming. "The whole system is falling apart," he told his ship's captain over dinner. Captain Lucy Martinez had worked for Roy for 10 years. She was smart enough to see the same things he saw. "How bad is it going to get?" she asked. Roy pulled out a datapad and showed her the numbers. Trade volume is down 60% in the core worlds, 80% in the rim systems. Some places have stopped trading completely. Lucy whistled. "What about the aliens? Are they trying to fix things?" "They're trying," Roy said, "but they don't know how. Look at this." He showed her a message on his datapad. "This is from the Zolonian Empire. They're offering me 50 times the normal rate to haul grain to their colony worlds." 50 times? Why so much? "Because their own cargo ships keep breaking down. Human mechanics used to service their fleets. Now they have ships sitting in spaceports with engines that won't start." The problems were not just with trade. All over the galaxy, conflicts that humans had prevented for decades were starting up again. The worst was happening near Vega System, where two alien races had hated each other for thousands of years. Colonel Jim Baker had been the human peacekeeper in that area for 8 years. He had kept the hegemony and the alliance from fighting by staying right between them. When both sides saw human ships watching them, they behaved themselves. Humans had a reputation for being very good at war. Nobody wanted to find out how good. But now Jim was gone. His ships were gone. His peacekeeping force was gone. The war started on a Tuesday. The hegemony attacked 3 alliance worlds at the same time. The alliance fought back by destroying a hegemony space station. Within a week, both sides had called up their reserve fleets. Ships that had been used for trade and exploration were now carrying weapons and soldiers. The Galactic Council tried to stop the fighting. They sent their own peacekeeping fleet to the war zone, but the Council fleet had always depended on human support. Human ships had provided supplies. Human officers had planned strategies. Human soldiers had done the hardest fighting. Without humans, the Council fleet was weak and confused. The hegemony ignored their orders to stop fighting. The Alliance laughed at their demands for peace. The Council ships retreated after losing 2 cruisers in their first battle. Back on Nexus Prime, Speaker Vexus Thera called an emergency meeting. The great meeting hall was not as full as usual. Many council members were dealing with crises on their own worlds. Those who came looked tired and scared. "The situation is unacceptable," Vex Thara announced. "Human withdrawal is causing chaos throughout the galaxy. Trade has collapsed. Wars have started. Our people are suffering." Councillor Thexandra of the Zolonian Empire stood up. "We must contact the humans. We must negotiate their return." "The humans refused our last 3 messages," said another councillor. "They will not even talk to us." Vexathera's skin changed color, which meant it was angry. "Then we will make them talk. We will blockade human space. We will force them to return." An old councillor in the back of the room laughed. It was not a happy sound. "With what ships? Half our fleets are broken down. The other half are fighting civil wars. We could not blockade a single human world, much less all of them." Truth was hard but clear. The aliens had built their civilization on human backs without realizing it. Humans had not just participated in galactic society. They had been holding it together. Now that they were gone, everything was falling apart. Engineer Michelle Turner received 20 job offers that week, all from alien companies desperate for human help. She threw them all in the trash without reading them. The aliens had made their choice. Now they could live with it. Councillor Thexandra had not slept in 3 days. She stood in her office on the Zolonian homeworld, looking at reports that got worse every hour. Her empire was dying. The greatest trading civilization in the galaxy was falling apart piece By piece. The numbers were terrible. Food shortages on 12 worlds, power failures on 30 stations, 3 major shipping routes completely shut down. The Zilonian fleet, once the pride of the Empire, had 60% of its ships broken and unfixable. Her assistant, a young Zilonian named Kexthor, brought her another stack of reports. Madam Counselor, the situation on Rigel Colony is critical. Their water treatment plant has failed. Without human maintenance protocols, they cannot fix it. Thexandra rubbed her tired eyes. How long before people start dying? 2 weeks, maybe less. What about the other colonies? Betamax 7 lost. Life support yesterday. We evacuated everyone to emergency shelters, but those will only last a month. Gamma Station's food processing plant shut down this morning. They are requesting immediate aid. Thexandra looked at a map of her empire. Red dots marked worlds in crisis. Yellow dots showed worlds with serious problems. Green dots were worlds that were still okay. 6 months ago, the map had been all green. Now she could barely find any green dots at all. The worst part was that they had caused this themselves. The Zilonians had been the loudest voices demanding human withdrawal from the Council. They had called humans dangerous and primitive. They had voted to restrict human activities. They had celebrated when the humans left. Now their empire was paying the price. On the other side of the galaxy, Captain Jerry Mason watched the alien distress signals with cold satisfaction. His ship, the Defiant, patrolled the edge of human space. Every day, more alien ships tried to cross into human territory. Most of them were refugees fleeing wars and disasters. Some were official diplomatic vessels begging for meetings. Jerry turned them all away. "Sir, we have another hegemony transport requesting emergency landing," his communications officer reported. Lieutenant Steve Parker was young but good at his job. "They say they have wounded civilians aboard." Jerry looked at the ship on his screen. It was badly damaged from the war that was still raging in the Vega system. He could see burn marks on its hull and emergency patches over holes. The ship was clearly in trouble. "What's our official response to hegemony vessels?" Jerry asked. "All requests for aid must be directed to the hegemony government," Steve recited. "Human space is closed to Council member species. Then give them the official response and send them away." Steve looked uncomfortable. "Sir, there might be children on that ship." Jerry's face did not change. "The hegemony government wanted to take human children from their families for proper education. They can take care of their own children now." The alien ship slowly turned around and flew away. Jerry watched it go without feeling sorry. The aliens had made their choice when they declared humans too dangerous for civilized society. Now they could live with the consequences. But the real crisis was just beginning. Deep in space, near the rim of the galaxy, something terrible was stirring. It was called the Void Plague, and it had killed entire star systems before. The plague was not a disease. It was something worse. It was a wave of energy that came from empty space between the stars. When it hit a solar system, it destroyed everything. Planets died. Stars went out. Nothing was left but cold, empty darkness. Humans had learned to predict the Void Plague 50 years ago. They had built detection stations throughout the galaxy. They had developed ways to protect worlds from the plague's effects. Human scientists had saved millions of lives by giving early warnings and organizing evacuations. But now the human scientists were gone. The detection stations had been abandoned. The protection systems were shut down. Dr. Carl Roberts was one of the few humans who knew about the Void Plague. He worked at a research station just inside human space. His computers were still connected to some of the old detection networks. When the alarm started going off, he knew what it meant. The Void Plague was coming back. And this time, no one was ready for it. Carl sent urgent messages to his superiors. Within hours, the information reached Admiral Frank Cooper, the commander of Human Border Forces. Frank was a tough old soldier who had fought in 3 wars. He had seen a lot of terrible things. But the Void Plague was worse than any war. The Plague was heading for 3 star systems in alien space. The Altair system had 2 billion people. The Deneb system had a major military base. The Procyon system was home to one of the galaxy's most important research facilities. All 3 would be completely destroyed unless someone acted fast. Frank called a meeting with his staff. "We could warn them," he said. "We could send the evacuation protocols, we could save those worlds." His aide, Colonel Nancy Wright, shook her head. "Sir, our orders are clear. No contact with Council species. No aid to alien governments." 3. Star systems, Nancy. Billions of people. People who wanted us gone, sir, people who called us too dangerous to exist. Frank was quiet for a long time. Finally, he made his decision. "Send a general warning on all frequencies. Tell them the void plague is coming, give them the coordinates and the timeline. After that, it's up to them." The warning went out, but it was too late. The aliens no longer had the equipment to detect the plague properly. They no longer had human scientists who understood how to fight it. They no longer had evacuation procedures that worked. When Speaker Vexithera received the news, it finally understood the truth. The aliens had not just lost human workers and human ships. They had lost human knowledge. They had lost human solutions to problems they did not even know existed. For the first time in its long life, Vexithera was truly afraid. The galaxy was not just falling apart. It was dying. And only the humans they had thrown away could save it. President Alex Murphy stood at the big window in his office on New Washington. The city stretched out below him, full of tall buildings and flying cars. In the distance, he could see the spaceport where ships came and went every minute. 5 years ago, this world had been empty. Now it was the capital of the most powerful nation in the galaxy. Behind him, a huge screen showed a map of human space. Green dots marked human worlds. Blue lines showed trade routes. Red zones marked areas where aliens were not allowed. The human territory was twice as big as the old Galactic Council space had ever been. Alex turned to face the Terran Senate. 100 senators sat in curved rows, representing every human world. They had come here to make important decisions about the future of humanity. Today's decision was about what to do with the alien governments that kept begging for help. Senator Bill Crawford from New Texas stood up first. He was a big man with a loud voice. "Mr. President, we get 50 requests for aid every day. The BR, aliens want food, medicine, technology, everything. They promise to pay us back someday. I say we ignore them all." Senator Mary Johnson from Luna Colony disagreed. "Some of these requests are for basic humanitarian aid. There are refugee camps with millions of aliens who are starving. We could help them without helping their governments." Alex listened to the debate for an hour. Then he made his decision. "We will provide emergency aid to refugee camps only. No aid to any government that was part of the old Galactic Council. They made their choice 5 years ago. Now they must live with it." The vote was unanimous. Every senator agreed. On the frontier, Governor Nancy Peterson was building something amazing. Her colony world, New Frontier, had started as a small mining outpost. Now it was home to 5 million people and the most advanced technology in known space. The aliens who occasionally visited the world in secret could hardly believe what they saw. Nancy walked through the central district of the main city. The buildings were made of materials that seemed to glow with their own light. Cars flew through the air without making any noise. People worked alongside robots that were almost human. The technology was 100 years ahead of anything the old Galactic Council had ever achieved. "How did you build all this so fast?" asked her visitor. Dr. Yexenal was a Vorthon scientist who had snuck into human space to see the colonies for himself. His own people were still living in cities with broken power grids and failing life support. "When you don't have to follow alien rules, you can innovate," Nancy explained. The old council had laws against advanced AI, genetic medicine, quantum computing, and dozens of other technologies. They said these things were too dangerous. We disagreed. She showed him a medical center where human doctors were curing diseases that aliens thought were incurable. She showed him factories where robots built entire spaceships in a single day. She showed him schools where human children learned things that alien professors did not understand. "Your people could have this, too," Nancy said. "But only if they ask nicely, and only if they admit they were wrong." Dr. Yexnal's skin turned pale, which meant he was very sad. "My government would never admit they were wrong. They would rather let our people suffer than show weakness to humans." Meanwhile, the old alien governments were fighting for survival. The Zolonian Empire had lost half its territory to civil wars. The hegemony had split into 6 smaller nations that spent more time fighting each other than fighting their real enemies. The Galactic Council met only once a year now, and half the members did not bother to show up. Ambassador Carol Wright worked at the Terran Embassy on Frontier Station. Every day, alien diplomats came to her office begging for meetings with human leaders. Most of them were turned away without even getting through the door. Today was different. Speaker Vexthera itself had come to the station. The old snake-like alien looked terrible. Its scales were dull and some were falling off. Its silver robe was dirty and had holes in it. This was the creature that had once ruled half the galaxy. Carol made Vexthera wait for 3 hours before agreeing to see it. When it finally entered her office, it immediately fell to the floor in front of her desk. "Please," Vexthera begged. "The Void Plague has destroyed 7 systems. Our people are dying by the billions. We cannot stop it without human help. I will do anything you ask." Carol looked down at the creature with no emotion on her face. The Terran Confederation does not provide aid to governments that declared us too dangerous for civilized space. "We were wrong," Vexthera cried. "We were fools. We were afraid of human power and human independence. Please forgive us. Please save us." "The time for forgiveness was 5 years ago," Carol said. "You had a choice then. You chose to treat humans as dangerous children who needed alien supervision. You chose to demand our weapons, our colonies, and our children. You chose to throw us out when we refused to be your slaves." Vexthera looked up at her with desperate eyes. "What must we do? How can we earn human forgiveness?" Carol smiled, but it was not a kind smile. "Complete surrender. Dissolve your governments. Accept human administration of your worlds. Allow human officials to make all important decisions. Become what you wanted us to become, a protected species under the guidance of your superiors." The alien's face showed horror. "You want us to become your slaves. We want you to experience what you tried to force on us," Carol corrected. "The difference is that we are actually capable of protecting and governing you. You could never have protected or governed us." Vexthera crawled out of the office in defeat. It would return to what was left of the Galactic Council and report that humanity would only help on terms that meant the complete destruction of alien independence. Some alien governments would accept those terms. Others would continue to struggle alone until their civilizations collapsed completely. A few might find ways to rebuild without human help, though it would take them centuries to reach their former power. But the galaxy had learned its lesson. Humanity was no longer the junior partner asking for permission to exist. Humanity was the dominant power, and everyone else lived at human sufferance. The age of alien superiority was over. The age of human dominance had begun. In the ruins of once great civilizations, alien parents told their children stories about the time when their people had been powerful and proud. They told them about the great mistake their leaders had made when they drove away the humans who had been holding their civilization together, and they warned their children never to make the same mistake again.